I'm Zucchini Runner, and today I'm going to show you how to make homemade almond milk. It's much easier than you would anticipate, and it only takes 3 very simple ingredients, 4 if you count the water. So the first thing that you want to do is soak almonds overnight. This right here is 2 cups of almonds that have been soaking since yesterday afternoon. You definitely want to rinse the soaking water out. We're going to drain it first and give it a quick rinse. Almonds that have been soaking overnight plump with the water, and they taste so good. Tastes just like straight almond oil. It's so delicious. So, you're definitely going to need a high-powered blender to do this. I'm going to go grab my Vitamix real quick. Step over your dog if you have one. Mine likes to sit right in the middle of my path to the pantry all the time. It's his way of, participating in the kitchen, I think. So, we have our Vitamix. Give it a rinse. So again, this was 2 cups dry, and they were soaked overnight, so they do plump, and it kind of turns into 3 cups. Originally, I would just do 1 cup, but we would go through the milk so quickly, so we started doing 2 cups. So this is actually almost 3 3/4. So at this point, I just add purified water, and I fill it up. Let me get both spouts going here so it goes a little bit faster. I fill it up to the 6-cup line. The more water that you add to, the less creamy it is. The less water you have, it'll be more like a creamer. So it's kind of like whole milk, 2% milk, or skim milk. So now I like to sweeten our almond milk a little bit, so I use dates, natural sugar. You just open it up, pop out the date. I usually pull off this little plug on the end. You can put in as many dates as you want for sweetness. You can just do 2. Usually on the single batch, I would do 3. On a double batch, I don't know why, but I'm just going to do 4. Here we go. So now that we have the dates in, the next step is to add some unsweetened coconut flakes. My favorite part. It's kind of my secret ingredient. Not a secret anymore. 1/3 of a cup. And a little bit more for good measure. The great thing about this is it's your almond milk. You can put whatever you want into it. This is just what we prefer. So feel free to make it how you want it. But now we put the lid on and get to the really noisy part. If you have a Vitamix, you just use the smoothie setting, and we turn it on. This is going to be loud. Okay, so while that's going, usually if I'm just doing this and not being videotaped, I get out my bowl, I get my strainer ready, and I get my almond milk, my milk bag ready. You can make whatever kind of nut milk you want. I like almond milk. Tried walnut milk once, it was disgusting. I got this bag at Whole Foods. You can also buy it online at Amazon, I know, and I think they're like $10. It wasn't very much, but definitely worth the investment. So, the next step here, I learned this the hard way the last time I made this. And this is going to be an experiment. But if you get close here, Mr. Zucchini Runner, you can see how full the milk is. If I take off the lid, this is going to overflow. And actually earlier when I said that I had only filled this up to the 6-cup line on the water, I lied. sorry, didn't mean to, but I filled it up almost to the top, which I believe on here is 8 cups. So when I added the water, it went up to here from the 3/4 with the almonds. And when you process it all, it adds air to it so it gets fluffy, and then it becomes larger than what your container can hold. So I'm going to try this for the first time, keeping the lid on and pouring out through the spout to get the almond milk going. Wish me luck. This might not work. Yay! Okay. So it's kind of a good way to maximize the most of your Vitamix there. It tasted so much better when I did this. The first time I did a 2-cup of almond milk batch, it was way too creamy. It was like half and half creamer because I didn't add enough water. So this has enough water. It'll give a nice kind of 2% to skim consistency, which is great. So this is the time-consuming part. The only time-consuming part of making almond milk is kind of letting the milk siphon through the milk bag. But what's great is that if you look down in there, you're producing milk. I'm going to set this kind of aside real quick here. I'm going to give my hands a good wash because you have to really get in and squeeze it all out through the milk bag. So now the squeezing begins. You see that as soon as I add pressure, a lot more milk comes out. This is also where it is best to have more water. It makes it quicker. If you use less water, you kind of are dealing with more pulp, and it doesn't siphon through the bag as easily. That's something else I found out a few times ago while making the homemade almond milk. So this step will take about 5 minutes. If you don't have the time to do it immediately, I will usually just set it aside and go do other things and then come back to it as needed. So we'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, we're getting down to the end, the last process. It's only been about 2 minutes, but after 2 minutes my hands always get tired, so I call in Mr. Zucchini Runner to help me out, and he is always great. He has much stronger arms than I do. So thanks to Mr. Zucchini Runner, I have all the hard work done basically, and I'm just going to squeeze out the last little bit here that I had a break. I usually kind of squeeze it into the corners, and that seems to get out the very, very last bit of it. But again, you can just do the 1 cup. It makes it a lot easier than this. I mean, literally, I've timed it from start to finish. It takes 10 minutes if you do the 1 cup. All right, I'm going to set that aside, pull this out. And this is a really big bowl, if you can kind of get the idea. Oh, and actually, on this bowl, it says right here that it's a 2-quart. So this just produced 2 quarts of almond milk. I am just going to pour this into our glass jar. This is always the fun and the scary part. Beautiful. Fresh, homemade almond milk. It only has dates, coconut, water, and soaked almonds, and you're done. It is delicious. So good with cookies. I only had cookies. It's kind of ridiculous how good this stuff is. Homemade almond milk. I'm Zucchini Runner, and thanks for watching.